a DeFi application on the BNB chain, which allows you to lend and borrow assets in a peer-to-peer model. In this video, you'll learn how to use it as well as how it works. At the end, we'll look at how to actually gain passive interest while holding a leveraged exposure to the cryptocurrency market using Venus. Venus's code is basically a copy and paste of an application you may have heard of called Compound, except Compound is on the Ethereum blockchain. Venus also added some improvements to the Compound protocol, including the ability to earn passive interest while you supply collateral. There is about $1 billion held in the Venus protocol, so it's a serious player on the BNB chain, and it will likely to just continue growing over time, as right now we are just in a bear market. Trend tokens use Venus behind the scenes to gain added exposure to the market, so I thought it'd be helpful for future Trend token holders to get an idea of how Venus works from the user perspective. Like most decentralized applications, all you have to do is connect your MetaMask wallet to the web interface. To get started, just go to venus.io, click Launch App, and Connect Wallet. If you haven't already gotten started with MetaMask, you can watch my video on how to do that, which I'll link up in the top corner. Now that your MetaMask wallet is connected to Venus, you can interact with the application using the cryptocurrency held in your wallet, rather than relying on a centralized exchange to hold custody of your funds and to need permission to use their service. Before you can borrow assets from Venus, you need to supply collateral. To do this, you first need to click this checkbox, click on the coin that you want to supply, enter an amount, click supply. There will be a little bit of a gas fee. You can go to your MetaMask wallet and look at details of this transaction by viewing it on the Block Explorer. As you can see from this page, after you sent in 0.01 BNB, the contract automatically sent you back 0.458 VBNB. Now, people can borrow BNB from that pool and they get charged interest over time. That interest goes back to the BNB pool and increases the value of the VBNB tokens when you want to reverse the transaction and send in VBNB to redeem your collateral. You'll get back more BNB than you initially deposited because of that more favorable VBNB to BNB exchange rate. Now that you supplied collateral to Venus, you can borrow against it based on a collateral factor. The collateral factor varies between the different coins, and the higher or more stable the coin is, the higher the collateral factor. So for example, Bitcoin will have a collateral factor of 80%, which allows you to borrow 80% of the value you supplied in Bitcoin. But other tokens like XVS, you are only able to borrow 60% based on the collateral value in XVS you supplied. You can view the collateral factors by going to Markets and then right here. But in practice, you don't want to borrow anywhere close to this collateral factor, as doing so may result in your position on Venus being liquidated as the prices change over time. For example, let's say you supplied $100 of Bitcoin and borrowed $80 against that. If the value of Bitcoin goes down, then that collateral factor will increase above 80%. And therefore, your Bitcoin position will be liquidated by liquidators, and they will earn a fee in the process that will come out of your pockets. When Trend tokens borrow and lend on Venus, it makes sure to always stay within a safety range to ensure that its positions do not get liquidated. To borrow on Venus, you just go to the borrow market and click whatever coin that you would like to borrow. As you can see here, it has an 80% limit, and my limit's very low because I'm not supplying much right now because I redeemed the amount of BNB I was supplying. But then you just click borrow, and if you need to repay, then you just go on this side and repay whatever you need. Since the spread between the supply market and borrow market is fairly low because there is no intermediary as in a centralized exchange, you can actually gain added exposure to the market while earning passive interest. So as you can see here, the ADA rate is 4% and the BUSD borrow rate is 1.5%. So if you had $100 in ADA, you could supply that as collateral on Venus for 5% per year or $5 per year. You could then borrow, for example, $50 worth of BUSD for 1.5% fee per year or pay 75 cents a year in interest. You can then go to PancakeSwap, trade that $50 of BUSD for $50 of ADA, supply that ADA on Venus for again 5% per year, or in this case $2.50, and essentially gain a 1.5 times exposure to ADA while earning $7.50 in collateral interest while paying 75 cents in interest fees for a net rate of 6.75% per year. So this is one of the great things about trend tokens working in the DeFi ecosystem, is that it can use these competitive peer-to-peer markets to lend and borrow while earning great interest and paying relatively low fees in the process. It's hard for a centralized exchange to compete with this because they want to make money in the process, and that comes with charging more for people to borrow and giving them less to lend assets. Now you know how to supply and redeem collateral, as well as borrow and repay loans, along with a bit of the theory of how it works and how you can actually gain passive interest while holding a margin leveraged exposure. Rather than doing all these actions on your own, you can just let trend tokens do all the work, meanwhile doing all this lending, borrowing, and swapping according to a dual momentum trading system, with all this trading activity reflected in the price of that trend token. If you'd like to get started with trend tokens, then make sure to subscribe to this channel to learn more about it. You could also join the Telegram chat, which I'll add a link in the description below. You could also message me directly there, as I'd love to hear from you and see if you have any questions, comments, or suggestions on this trend token ecosystem that I'm building here. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.